Hi there, welcome back to Torment, Tides of Numenera, my friends. We're here, confronted with a man that is supposed to take our mind by the changing god. And of course we have to resist. And the changing god speaks with the pupils that return from the opposite side. And I'm not surrendering my mind to you, could be something we could say, but we will just try to distract him first. Is that you weren't really a prophet? Doran shrugs. I lied. Your father speaks to me, he says, pointing at a tiny device at the base of his skull. Too small to have noticed before. He has told me that he has need of your body, and I have learned over the years to trust what he says. A hint of sorrow touches his eye. It's time to return your father's property, Castov. We need to try to get him talking. When did the changing god start speaking to you? Years ago, Doran says simply. He taps the base of his skull. Ever since his device attached itself to me while I was exploring one of his abandoned laboratories. He has asked me to tell you that erasure of your mind will not hurt. He will simply nudge your mind into oblivion and take its place. He will be among us at last, thanks to you, Scanthorpe. It won't hurt, Castov. It's only nudging your mind into oblivion so that I may have my body. What is that device, anyway? One of his mouthpieces, he says, brow furrowing. Apparently he has assumed this was common knowledge among Castovs. Smiling, he shakes his head in self-deprecating amusement. I picked this relic up, examined it and discarded it, but then it shot up from the ground and chose me, claimed me. Your father has spoken to me ever since. No, we'll not go for this erasure. The changing god is using you, that's what he does. Of course he is, Doran says, sighing, and we choose to let him. You and your kind do not have the same freedom. That body does not belong to you. It must be exhausting, he says, compassion in every line of his face. It must be impossible knowing that your every breath is borrowed, that your discoveries do not ultimately belong to you, and that your only marks on the world will be the ones he does not wipe away. He clasps his hands. Thankfully, we are here to take that burden from you. It is time to sleep, Castov. It is time to surrender. So, no, let's distract him again. The changing god is trapped in my mind, though. How can he be speaking to you? He looks confused for a moment. In your mind? I don't... Scanthos, did you think I would let myself be rendered helpless? I am never without power. He raises a hand to its head. Ah, he says, it seems he is in your mind, but maybe you've forgotten who we're talking about. The changing god has been alive for centuries, maybe more. He would never let himself be trapped or rendered helpless. He's never powerless. I'm proof of that, Scanthos. Doran is but one of my tools. You are never beyond my reach, Castov. So, no. Let's not go for the offer. Let's intimidate him. I'll give you one chance to run, just one. Be smart. Oh god, we're not good at this. 15%? 10%? Rin, can you do this? No. We'll have to let Tyvir do it, I guess. With a freaking... No, Calistique with a freaking 15% chance. Here we go. We did it! Critical success. Stat pools on infantry sword. Oh my god. His complacency drains in the face of your threat. His eyes pop open wide. Well done, Calistique. You're the most threatening of us. His hands fly instinctively to his ears as though someone were shouting at him. I'm sorry, this was a mistake. I'm not strong enough. I don't want to... Scanthorpe, fool, you are less than worthless. I will find another way to retrieve my body. Oh, there's a high-pitched keening. Doran clutches the device at the back of his skull as though it were hurting him. He groans, swaying. With a soggy crump, his head bursts. With a single horrified glance at their fallen prophet, his followers flee. We didn't want to hurt him. It was probably, splurp, unavoidable. He has left something behind, that device. The Gauntlet of Murder? Wow, it's probably his weapon, right? An oddity. No, that's his weapon. The Slug Spitter. What a strange weapon. It spits slugs or what? This is a long metal device with a narrow tube and a trigger mechanism. It has an opening to feed tiny slugs of metal into the tube. With a quiet puff of air, it fires these slugs rapidly at high velocity. That's a curiosity more than a weapon. Some slug spitters are cobbled together from other Numenera, while others are ancient weapons that survive the ages intact. Producing a slug spitter from scratch is beyond the reach of 9th world human technology. Oh, it seems to be okay, right? And what do we have here? The Gauntlet of Murder. This deep black metal gauntlet twinkles like the stars in the night sky. If you listen closely, a hum can be heard emanating from the glove. And then that earpiece. Ossified trifolium. This three-leaved plant is black as pitch and hard as stone when held. When pressed against an article of clothing, the stem extends and insinuates itself into the fabric. And the leaves are brushed, the wearer sees the vision of a young auburn-haired girl embracing a dark-haired boy before turning away, followed by a wave of visible intense longing from the boy before fading. That's also odd. Goodness, let's leave this place.
Of course.
15% and we did it! How crazy is this? Oh, we should have leveled up. Nah, damn it. We'll do that now. Hopefully. What happens now? Well, that's inconvenient. Looks like we're taking the long way back, whatever that is. Yeah, Calistig. Let's give you a level. Cipher limit increase. The onslaught. The dimensional superposition. Could have flash or entropic field. All enemies struck inside a radius. Area damage, and this is area... area debuff. We wanted to give her more intellect so that the edge is even more powerful. Well then. Could go extra effort. Don't think we'll need that. We'll go ability or skill, I guess. Let's see. Natural law, that's for Rin now. Concentration, that is good, of course. Go for concentration or entropic field. Let's go for a skill and for concentration. And what, we cannot go for concentration. We can go for law natural. Let's go for an ability and for the entropic field or the flash. 8 physical damage to all damage, and even on a miss deals 1 damage for each level of effort applied. Defended by willpower, intellect, 2 intellect. The edge will help us a lot on this. Same for this. And if we level it up, what happens then? That's the interesting thing, right? Resistance reduction -1 per tier. And here... I get a bonus on attacks, probably. Active 3 rounds. It's just does damage. But we have a way of debuffing them already, I think, so let's level the flash. And we ourselves also are learning something. We're glowing legacy guide. Golden blue. What could we do? Intellect is not bad. Might could be. When specializing on slot, we could go for a tier 2 or tier 3 skill. So dismay. Oh, we can only go extra effort. Well, then let's go extra effort. Here we go. We're getting a concentration increase, 1 training level in concentration, in invigorating conversation. On critical success on persuasion, deception, or intimidation tasks, completely refill your intellect pool. Nice! 2 abilities to learn. Oh my. Mind control. 4 intellect. Forces the target to fight on your side. That seems very useful. Even though the AI is of course terrible to fight. Usually in games. Plague spirits. Maelstrom. Gravity manipulation. Energize. Unstoppable force. 2 damage on esoteric attacks. Resourceful. 1 level in cipher skill. No. Scanning array. 5% bonus for each level of effort applied to perception, law, machinery, law, mystical, and law natural tasks. That's good. Plague spirits. I think I want to become an unstoppable force. That's one thing. And then we could become, we could get the Maelstrom maybe. Even on miss, deal 1 damage per level of effort. 12 plus 1. With Balefire. Resourceful, scanning array. I mean, that's also good, of course. Create a temporary matrix in your corneas that highlight and sharpen details that might have otherwise remained hidden. 5% bonus for perception, law machinery, mystical, and law natural. That's more of a calisthenic thing. We only have law natural. So I really like Maelstrom. It seems so flexible. Here we go. Really offensive, but what can we do? Then where do we have to go now? I mean, this has closed. Portal to Chirurgeon Slump is gone. All that remains is a hideous scar. And what can we do now? The long way, whatever this is. Let's ask the tongue cluster. Bloom tongues make wet, unpleasant sounds as they writhe and squirm against each other. As you approach, the voices of the bloom begin to click and buzz in your ears, making your fingers twitch and setting your teeth on edge. You catch yourself reaching instinctively for the magmatic amulet, as if it's something you've done many times before. You will touch it. You grasp the crystalline artifact. At once the voices of the bloom grow louder, and louder still. They fill your consciousness, drowning out your thoughts, hissing and whispering and chittering and buzzing. They are coming from every direction, from above and below, from nearby and far away. Swaying on your feet, you nearly topple to the floor. Slowly the bloom voices resolve themselves into their constituent parts, but now they carry sense impressions with them. Hunger, curiosity, desire. Each burst of bloom voices evokes a new impression in your mind. For a moment, you let go of the amulet and the sense impressions are gone. The voices are nothing but meaningless babble. Then you touch the amulet again and the sense impressions return. You realize that the magnetic amulet is a translator of sorts, though the limits and scope of its power are uncertain. I try to communicate with a cluster of bloom tongues. Relaxing your mind, you allow the whispering of the bloom tongues to penetrate your thoughts. Memories rise into your consciousness, trivial moments you thought you had forgotten. Just as you recognize them, they are swept away. The bloom tongues are sifting through your memories, looking for something. The voices dig deeper into your unconscious. What seemed harmless at first becomes irritating. A dull ache blossoms in the back of your head, spreading across your skull and down your spine. The pain comes in waves, as if the bloom is trying to wrench a memory out of your brain. You could channel the pain back into the bloom tongues. It could feed on a memory. Is that... we'll try the tidal surge. You focus on the pain, letting it flow upon the tides and surge away from you. A molten rush of agony that leaves your nerves quivering in its wake. It spills across the bridge that the amulet has created between your mind and the tongues. From all around you, the bloom's voices shriek in hatred and fury. The tongues twist and writhe, then the ground shakes. And then the pain is gone. The clustered bloom tongues droop, their movements feeble. Their voice is no more than a whisper. In the aftermath of your unusual experience, you find that you have maintained your grip upon the magnetic amulet. Your connection to the bloom tongues remains intact. While they are in a weakened state, you might be able to seize control. That's what we'll do. You can go to 100%. LST can go to 80. Yeah, most of them can only go to 80. We can go invest to 1 and go 2 and go into 100%. We'll do that. We'll take control of the bloom. You reach across the barrier that separates your consciousness from that of the tongues, a barrier now made permeable by the amulet. Tentatively, you begin to direct the motions of the tongues. It's a strange sensation, like having another set of limbs, but they respond to your impulses. Belatedly, the tongues try to resist, but with a bit of concentration, you quiet them like errant thoughts. These tongues, you realize, are a tiny locus of the bloom's consciousness. Their roots extend throughout the trade post, and now so do your thoughts and commands. We can move the trade post back or restore the portal. Yeah, let's move the trade post back. That can help the traders as well. You close your eyes and relax your mind, probing the limits of your new senses. The roots of the bloom tongues run throughout the trade post, but they also extend some distance into the surrounding flesh. A few of them trail upward, tracing a path toward an open cavity in the outer reaches of the bloom. Steeling yourself, you take a hold of all the tendrils at once, urging them back along that path, clawing their way toward the surface and dragging the trade post after them. The ground buckles and churns beneath your feet, and the whole chamber begins to move. At last you open your eyes. The shaking subsides. The blocked archway is opening. You hear astonished voices outside. Opening here. Haha, we have moved the whole thing. The energy spent, the bloom tongues recede into the ground. Oh, that's amazing. Restore the trade post we have.
Yes, now.
Leave here. And see what has come to it now. As you emerge from the trade post, you hear sharp intakes of breath. The two merchants you met earlier are staring at you in amazement. That great jaw and the teeth, they're gone! The portly human beams at you. Was this your doing? If it was, you have our deepest thanks. But we are no better off, the Vajan points out. Our wagon is still supper for bloom thing. Quite right, the human frowns, but it's still damned impressive. I thought the bloom only answered to the Memovera. Where is she when we need her help, eh? It seems like we might become the Memovera. Find out more about that in the next episode. Thank you for watching, and happy gaming to you. We'll see each other then. Have a great time until then, and happy gaming. This is Immanuel signing out. See you soon, my friend.